Hello, welcome to my channel, A Book Forest. My name is Kim and today I'm going to be doing a review of the Sarantine Mosaic by Guy Gavriel Kay. So it's composed of two books, Sailing to Sarantium and Lord of Emperors. So this is part of my Guy Gavriel Kay year. I've been reading all his books this year. I read this duology over the summer and I really enjoyed it. It's very good. I would say it's not a beginner's level type of read. It's a bit hefty, so you need to be I think you need to have read a bit of fantasy and a bit of maybe historical fiction before you tackle this. So the story, it's similar to what Guy Gavriel Kay does most often. He takes real history and he creates his own side world with different names, but the characters are very reminiscent of actual figures that existed. So the main story is set in Sarantium and Batiara. So Sarantium is the equivalent of Byzantium, so Constantinople or Istanbul nowadays. A very interesting city I would love to visit. And the setting is during the reign of Valerius, who is an emperor, who is the Justinian of this world, and his wife Alexana, who is Theodora. Very interesting real history that I did not know much about before when I went in. So I enjoyed this very much because I wasn't so familiar with the history that it kind of drew me out of the story. And Batiara is the land of the Ante, who invaded Batiara and conquered. So it's the equivalent of Italy and the invasion of Rome. And in Batiara there is a very talented mosaicist named Crispin. And Crispin is very depressed. He is grieving the loss of his wife and children after a plague, and he's just struggling to find any reason to go on. The only thing that he still enjoys is his art. So, and he's very gruff and choleric, so he is prone to anger. But everyone around him seems to love him, and he receives a summons to go to the main city, Sarantium. And in this book, sailing to Sarantium also means like you're going to the big city, but it also means going on an adventure, and that's what happens with Crispin. So this book is quite slow. It's the first, and it's like it's slow going. You get to know Crispin really well on the road. There's some magic, very interesting, and some pagan lore thrown around. And he's traveling on the roads towards Sarantium, and he meets up with a few people that that stick with him, and they're very interesting. I really enjoyed the characters in this book. There's a young girl who's like a serving maid, and also there for the pleasures of the patrons of an inn, and she's supposed to take part in a pagan ritual where she's kind of sacrificed. There's also someone who's always been on the road like a slave, but he's working to pay off his debt. So very interesting. And Crispin, with all his faults, he's like a very angry, red-headed middle-aged man, but he seems to have a talent to get some loyalty out of people. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. Most of the plot is on the road, and then we get to Sarantium and at the beginning of his stay there. And why he's been summoned is because the Emperor Valerius wants him to do the mosaic on a big building that he's building for his religion, which is Jad. He's kind of Christianity, and he wants this glorious mosaic to go up on the cupola of the building. which sounds amazing. Like the description of all the buildings, of all the places that Crispin goes to, is really vivid, and it makes you really feel like the world is real. So yeah, Guy Gavriel Kay has a real talent to set up a nice world and also make you care for characters like almost right away. So it happened in these books. I really enjoyed them. So the happenings in the city are very like, there's a lot of politics obviously, and a lot of antagonistic factions. There's the actual factions of the Greens and the Blues, and it's kind of reflective of what really happened in Byzantium, in Constantinople. So they each have like their artists, their cooks, their everything. Like they're competing against each other, the factions in the city. Like you could be part of a faction and you're like, okay, this is I'm a blue and all the greens are crap. And they also have dancers, they have chariot racers, like very interesting dynamics in the city. And there's like, you get to know a lot of the people that are not in power, like the dancer, the chariot racer, the cooks, it was the soldiers. So very interesting cast of characters. They're all very well rounded. I enjoyed most of them, with a couple of exceptions I'll mention. And also, yeah, there's a big chariot race at one point, which is like amazing, and I think it was probably inspired by Ben-Hur, but maybe not. I remember reading Ben-Hur and it was really thrilling, so he did a good job of doing something similar. So in this book it's a lot of setup, it's slow paced. This has all the resolution, so it's very delicately done, very well done. The only thing that I thought was a bit unfortunate is that the characters that we meet in this book, a couple of them are kind of sidetracked in this one, and I would have liked to have them more central because I really like them. And some of the characters that we meet in this book, or at the end of the first book, are kind of all similar to me. So there's a lot of very powerful women, which is great. There's the Empress Alexana. There's also the daughter of a very noble family that was kind of done wrong by the emperor, and she's married to the general, the captain of the army. And there's also a dancer. They're all very nice, powerful, beautiful women, and they all seem to fall for Crispin for some reason, which I found hard to believe. So that was a bit like wishful thinking from the author, I think. And also all the women are kind of have a similar character, like they're all very strong and powerful, opinionated, and calculating, and all that. So I thought they were blending in to within each other for some reason. I thought, even though they were nice and interesting, he could have reduced the number of characters there. Also, all the art, like the talk about art, is amazing. You feel like Kay is an artist, of course, and he has a fascination for all kinds of art. Like there's the chefs, the cooks, they're doing their thing, and it's kind of like art. Even the chariot racers. There's a doctor, and even that is kind of described as very art, like a vocation. So it's very intense. So all the pieces are set on the chessboard for Lord of in this book, for Lord of Emperors, and this is like there's a lot going on in there. So, and they're very unexpected things that happen that I was really pleased by, because I like to be surprised. So there's things that you did not see coming that happen, heartbreaking things, really, that happen politically but also personally for some people. And there's like like there's one scene that I cried, like it was heartbreaking. It's related to Crispin. So overall, very solid duology. I might not start my journey with Guy Gavriel Kay with those books though. They're like they're like very tough to get. Like the writing is very beautiful, but you need to take your time reading this to get it all in, which is a good thing, but you need to be warned. It's not for like a quick read. So I have a few quotes I want to talk about. Like Crispin is very depressed at the beginning and says, Crispin thought he did not want to live anymore, but in danger he realized he wanted to leave his mark on the world as an artist. So his main motivation going forward, because he lost everything he loved, is art. And there's also a nice quote in Lord of Emperors. You had to live, Crispin thought, in order to have anything to say about living, but you needed to find a way to withdraw to accomplish that saying. So he's talking about the artist's way, like in order to create art, you need to live and have a life and emotions and meet people, see things. But then when it's time to actually create the art, you have to be in isolation with all the things you learned. So yeah, that's very interesting. Overall, if you enjoy political fantasy or historical fiction, if you enjoy a big cast of characters, but all the characters are very interesting and in their own way, I would totally recommend this duology. It's not my favorite, but it's high up. It's way up there. So even further on, like when I first finished it, I was not sure if I really loved it, but now that I've had a few weeks or months to think about it, yeah, it's stuck with me. So definitely interesting. So yeah, let me know if you've read those, if you enjoyed them, and see you next time.